It's time for us to take back our communities and create unity. Community vibes with BrownEyes. Come take a walk with me. Community vibes with BrownEyes. Hit it, King T finesse. We hit the streets running. You know we coming. Building with knowledge to inform, to bring the love in. It's the unity in our community. Reform, move on to be strong. It takes you and me. Bring the issues, let's talk about it. Make a plan, bring it to life and never doubt it. To inspire, keep you going higher. Words put to action, fuel to the fire. Life gets better when we do it together. BrownEyes, King T, finesse, time to get up. Get up. Get up. For everyone the best. Hit it, King T, finesse. Join in and catch the vibe. All right. Welcome to another episode of Community Vibes with BrownEyes. My name is BrownEyes. I am your host for today. And I must say that this is our 8th show for the year. And you know what they say about the number 8? 8 is great. And 8 is also a number signifying a new beginning. So I don't know what new we're having, but I'm having a good round with these shows. And I'm just happy that you guys are coming on board to come out and support the show, and that you're watching the show, and that you're sharing the show. And today we got a great show. But first off, I want to introduce my guest that I have here today. A very powerful producer, film director, musician. He has so many talents, community leader. I want y'all to meet Mr. Carter Mangan, Mr. Rock himself from Off the Rock LLC. Right. You know, and we're going to talk a lot about some of the things that he's doing, great things that he's doing in the community. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to King T Finesse, my producer that's usually here. He is feeling a little under weather, so we're wishing him well until the next time. Want to give a shout out also to Pam Lewis from the Connect Us Youth a group up in Connecticut, New Jersey, and also Mink's Gold, the one who supplies me with all my necklaces, my earrings, and everything. Thank you, Mink, for all of your jewelry. Check them out. You will see them on my page, and you can check all of those organizations out. I want to tell you a little bit about Community Vibes. Community Vibes with BrownEyes is a project that's designated to go into the depths of the community to shine light on those who are often overlooked. People like leaders, non-profit organizations, musicians, performing artists, young people just like you and me who decided to take their gifts and their talents and their ideas and go into the community and create something to benefit themselves and others. So it is our desire that we not only come together to talk about these things, but to shine some serious light on the great things that are being done in our communities, because we always see the fighting. We always hear about the negative things, but we never hear about those little nuggets and those things that people are doing that does a great thing for so many in the community. So, you know, thank you all for tuning in, and I'm glad that you're here. And so our show title for today, because we have our great producer on the scene, is going to be about how a producer's love for music can empower success and change in other people's lives. You know, music has a big, impact from New Jersey, period, because back from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, jazz was a big thing here in New Jersey, where they used to go into Newark, New Jersey, to a lot of the clubs. Mm-hmm. We talking about Dizzy Gillespie and, Duke Ellington and Sarah Vaughan, mm-hmm. and all of these great artists that inspire people like Dionne Warwick and, Whitney Houston, all the R&B singers. And then later on, even with the hip hop, I know they say that hip hop started in the Bronx, mm-hmm. South Bronx in New York City, but here in New Jersey, it started right in Inglewood with Sugar Hill Records and the Sugar Hill Gang, mm-hmm. And from that you get a lot of artists. You get Tretch, you get Redman, you get Do It All, you get, so many other, Lauryn Hill, my favorite, Queen Latifah, and I can go on and on, mm-hmm. with so many different artists and so much talent that is here in New Jersey. And it often makes me wonder, why our radio station, I'm from New York originally, mm-hmm. but I live in New Jersey now, so I'm gonna say I put my 10 years in here. I could claim New Jersey, y'all. You know, I can claim New Jersey, but I always wonder why we don't have our own radio station. You know, because there's so much talent here, and New Jersey has given so much to the music industry that there should be, you know, more on the radio waves. You know, because even in New York, I believe their radio waves are here in New Jersey. They get their satellite, you know, from here in New Jersey. So we should have our own, but I'm not going to get into that more. We'll have another show about that, but I'm going to get into Carter, you know, because you are, you know, grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I want you to tell me a little bit about your growing up and what, you know, led you into inspiring you into coming into music.
Absolutely. Born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, in the South Ward. I always had a love for music in some form of fashion, you know, listening to my mom on Sunday mornings, you know, doing the house cleaning and, you know, just hearing WBGO on the radio and Hot 97. And so it kind of like, I guess it subconsciously started there. And then later on, about the age of 7, I started playing piano. You know, I wanted to play the keys. And then I kind of couldn't really focus, and I was too young, you know. But I maintained, you know, some sort of that knowledge and understanding of music. And then by the age of 13, once I got into guitar, it was all from there. Started, you know, dabbling with music production programs at the age of 15. And so I said, you know, this is what I want to kind of go to school for. So I went to North Tech in Newark, New Jersey, Market Street. Shout out to them. Shout out to the Terriers.
Shout out to Tech. Give Tech a shout out. Look at the product of Tech. He's still going, y'all.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, I mean, that's wonderful. And it doesn't surprise me that you started out with piano, because piano was a big thing in Newark, New Jersey. I mean, piano, it was the keys of jazz.
Right.
You know, and piano was the thing in Newark, New Jersey when all of the clubs were heavily into jazz. And, you know, thankful to, you know, a lot of, you know, elements like I said, Symphony Hall and NJ Pack, and they have other, I think, Clements, you know, they also have that still dedicate themselves. You have people who have dedicated themselves to jazz for so many years, you know. So I'm very excited about that. So in Newark, New Jersey, when you grew up and you started music, when was your first time where you knew you wanted to like start, you know, like going public with it, like letting people hear you play, and you know, how did that start for you?
Right. I think that my main thing, you know, I started doing these beat battles. And like, you know, most of the time I was just producing in the house, and I would hear my stuff, my family would hear my music. But then when I started doing the beat battles and I started seeing the appreciation from the crowd, I said, okay, this is kind of something I want to do. Like, that's what I want to do for a living. And then when I started discovering that you can make a living, you know, people wanted to purchase my beats in school and things of that nature. I said, okay, this is something that could be profitable.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Because, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and I started rapping like way back, like with the Sugar Hill Gang, because I'm older than you. You know, like I remember the Fat Back Band. They don't even go back that far. They always say, you know, it started with Kool Herc in the Bronx, but Fat Back Band was out way before even Kool Herc. You know what I'm saying? And they was doing a form of hip hop by talking over music. You know, and then they started with, you know, the scratching and cutting with cool DJ Herc, and that's when hip hop really came into fusion, you know, and people started hearing this new sound, you know. And I, you know, as a young girl, you know, the hip hop, the hip to the hip hop, you know, I got right into that. And we would go to the park jams, and, you know, just like you know, my brother used to play the piano. We were the only people in our neighborhood with a piano in the house. And my brother would play the piano all the time, and I would write songs, but I never thought that I would, you know, be bold enough to go out. But eventually with the park jams, you know, I don't know if you guys did it in New Jersey, but back in my days, they used to have 2 DJs, one at one end of the school park, the other one at the other end of the school park. They would plug their stuff into the light, the pole, and then they can't do that now. The police will come, but back then they would stick the electricity from the light pole, and they would battle each other, and whoever pulled the most people to which end of the park is the one who wins the battle.
We need to bring that back.
We need to bring that back. Yes, we do. We really need to bring that back. And I used to be the youngest MC, so they used to hold me for later on on at night, and I remember my mom used to be like, you know, I don't want her out there late at night. She's only like 11 years old. You know, they like, we'll look out for her. Just let her stay out till at least 12 or 1. Like 12 or 1, I'm out there like 10-year-old. And I used to, when I got on the mic, people used to go crazy. You know, they used to go so crazy. And so I started, just, doing local talent shows and stuff. So I know how that feels when you started doing something that started building your self-esteem, because people started liking what you did. That made you want to do more. And then you get out there and you start giving people your beats and things like that. So from there, making beats for people, what did you do in terms of performing with your own music? Did you do shows? Did you do local talent shows? Like, did you travel into New York? I know New York was a big hub for music and things.
Absolutely, yeah. So through the beat battles, I was able to travel as far as DC and Connecticut and all of that, and I was winning all over. And I ended up this one specific beat battle in New York. I met a friend of mine, Nicole Sanzio, who's now been my publisher, one of my closest publishers for like over 15, 20 years now.
Beautiful.
And and through her, like, I've gotten a lot of film and TV placements and things of that nature, and got connected with a lot of people. So music has kind of definitely elevated my life. Yeah.
Right. So. And it does elevate your life, because what it does is that it allows you to not become a better socializer, because you have to collab with people.
Right.
If you create the music, then you work with other artists that write lyrics. You work in ensembles, with different people with different instruments. Like, people don't realize the importance of how music builds you up to be able to collaborate and actually chemically mesh with people, with energies.
Right,
to create the sounds and the performances that you do, to actually inspire other people. So, music, people think of music like, I like the way this sounds, he's good at what he do, but they don't realize that skill, even with me rapping, it takes you places and get you in situations to do things and create things with people that you would have never done before.
Right.
And then you build those relationships, and it takes you traveling to places. Then next thing you know, like you said, you're in DC, you're in Connecticut, you're in Atlanta, you're in California. You wind up all over the place meeting all these people through this skill that you choose to drive. So I know that you have done a lot of work with a lot of different I'm actually impressed with your scorecard. I was looking at, through your Facebook, and I was looking, at of your website, and I see that you did so many of scores with different shows, like Love and Hip Hop, All American, you did Ugly, the film, you did the Welcome to Newark video. I seen you in so many things that you have done with so many different people. You even speaking at the Prudential Center, talking about, the project that you did with Raz Baraka, creating that, and other local artists. Like, you are amazing. You are really amazing with what you do. But before you tell me a little more about how you started getting involved in some of those bigger, opportunities, I want to show them with the video that I created. I got a little skill too. Let me show y'all a little bit of Carter Mangan on the screen. Play that video.
As a North-bred musician, composer, it was a great opportunity to work on projects such as this. I worked with some great talent, including the incomparable Bree Black, who plays the violin on this piece here. We just want to say thank you to the Regional Conventions and Visitor Bureau for having me be a part of this project.
And I'm gonna tell you, so much flashed on that screen. There's so much more to this brother right here. I'm telling you, I couldn't even pull it all out. You know, that if you think that's something, you got to check out, you know, his website. I'll let him tell you that before we finish the show. But so many great things, so many great opportunities, and so much inspiration, you know, for a young black man to be doing the things that you're doing, and other people are seeing you, young boys and girls, and seeing you, knowing that they have an opportunity to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I see so many different movies, you know, HBO and Netflix and different things that you got a chance to write music for different scenes and things like that. Tell me how you got involved in that, and what made you get involved in that.
Absolutely. So, you know, my initial goal when I first started doing music, I wanted to be a rock star, right? And I say music and film and television kind of found me. You know, like I said, I met doing the beat battles. I was meeting a lot of industry people and things of that nature, artist management, da. Well, like when Nicole found me, she showed me this as an opportunity to do music for film and TV, and I was like, all right, I'll try it. When I got my first placement and I heard it, and I said, this is a thing. Like, you know, you can actually receive payment for like these things. So I was like, that's kind of how I went. And then I realized that music and visuals actually can match, you know what I mean, what's happening on the screen, that you can be translated through music. And so like that's kind of where I went with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, that's one of the most important parts of any scene or environment. I mean, like I always tell people, you can't have a community event, you can't have a movie, you can't have a party without music. Right. Music. As an MC, I can't have a show without a DJ. You know, so people never realize how important it is, you know, the music factor of it all, because the music is what brings the mood. You know, like I can talk to you here with no music or anything, or we could watch the, you know, the slideshow or whatever with no music, and it would have had no vibe to it. Right. You know, so the music is what brings the vibe. So you bring the vibe to movies and the vibe to the feeling of that moment, you know, with the music that you create, which just shows that music has its own language. You know, because even without a scene, I can hear a song and it can make me feel sad. It could make me feel exciting. It could make me, you know, feel like I want to tell a story. You know how as MCs we like, yeah, that's it right there. That's it. And we jump in with our lyrics, you know. So music really speaks, you know, to your soul, you know, so that you could bring out whatever performance it is, be it dance, singing, rapping, or whatever. But I also noticed that you're also in filming. Right. That's something that I didn't know about. How did you get from playing the piano to producing music to now, you know, filming? Right.
So my mother actually worked on a documentary recently called The Life and Legacy of Newark's Culture Icons.
Don't forget it. She gonna get you.
I know, right? I'm like, yeah.
Mom, he charge it to his head and not his heart.
Right. So, and so working on her film, I actually, it's called Going Too Soon.
Okay, Going Too Soon.
And working on her film, I was doing the audio. I also did the music. I said, you know, this is something I think I can get into too, documentary filmmaking, and that route. You know, working with a friend of mine, Tiffany Fenton. I said, you know, she was already doing research on Child Protective Services. Right. And, you know, show me like videos of like these cases and things that are happening. I said, let's make this into a documentary. Like, let's track down these families and find out what's really going on. And so that's how that kind of got started.
And how was that for you, you know, doing a documentary for the first time?
It was an eye-opening experience. It was things that that I was totally unaware of when it comes to Child Protective Services. And then I started learning that friends of mine were in Child Protective Services, you know, growing up. And I was like, what? Yeah, so it kind of got deeper and deeper, and ended up going down this crazy rabbit hole. So
yeah, it's a lot of things that are going on in our communities that people don't know about. You know, like I was telling a friend of mine, you know, I drive past, you know, on Springfield Avenue in Irvington all the time, you know, and I went out with them to feed people who were homeless and they wanted food. And I went out there one morning, and right there on that same area where I pass every day and never see anyone, like 50 people showed up that are living out there on the street, sleeping in the little park over there. And you say to yourself, I go through these places all the time and I never see this. So imagine how much more is hidden in the community if you're not a community type of person to go out, you know, human development wise, you know, to go out to find out what's going on, get involved in different activities. You would never know what's going on. And there is a lot of homeless people, or houseless people, I should say, in our communities. You know, a lot of abuse in our communities, a lot of domestic violence in our communities. You know, we hear about the gun violence and the gang violence, and you know, but there's a lot of other things that are very harmful in the households of our community that people really wish they could get the help that they need or know what direction they can go to. And I could guarantee you, now you say your mom does a documentary, you know, that blew over my head, but I'm gonna bring it right back because that speaks volumes as to why you're so, you know, outgoing when it comes to, because your mom, you know, like, how has she been doing that all her life, doing documentaries and things like that?
No, she's been in like broadcast media.
Wow.
Yeah, artist management.
Okay.
Yeah, so she worked for the city of Newark in the arts and culture department. You know.
Okay, well, shout out to mom and all of her great work. I might have to bring her on the show next. Get to know a little more, because most of my community work I did most of my years in New York City. I did a lot of organizing with young people, producing talent events, community organizing, developmental workshops. I have a workshop that I created called Rap and Reality. I use instrumental hip hop music, but it's basically talking to people about, you know, their performance in life and not just on stage. You know, how you're going to dress up. You wear a costume for a stage, but you also dress up in life to present yourself in a certain way. You know, how you dress up for the day, and your attitude and your posture is how people are going to perceive you, just like as if you was on stage. You know, so, you know, I used to do the Rap and Reality workshop a lot, which I think I'm going to start doing again now that COVID is, you know, slowing down, hopefully. You know, so that means a lot, you know. And speaking of, you know, the community, in terms of, I met you by being in the community, you know, because there's not a community that I've ever lived in that I didn't get involved with organizing in some kind of way, because that's my passion. You know, even in Newark, New Jersey, I noticed Newark, New Jersey got a lot of, you know, different people doing different things, and some of them are like, oh, who are you? Where you come from? I've been doing this for years. I'm like, oh, I'm from New York, but I've been here. I'm just trying to find my place. I want to help out too. It's enough for all of us, you know, and there's no one person that's going to be able to, you know, fix all the ills of our community. So anywhere I go, even when I was in Atlanta, I was involved in community work. You know, so now that I'm here in New Jersey, I'm still involved in community work. I'm going to be out there, and I've seen you a lot, and I used to produce the youth talent shows, and you were sort of grandfathered in because I became the producer while you was already in connected and involved in it. You know, but then you still continued to come out. And I tell you, every time I needed a judge or somebody that was in music and I called you, you came out for the young people. You came out for the young people. When I go to community events, I see you out there playing music. You with a band, or you're involved in some kind of way. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what are some of the community activities that you've been involved in? I know you did something with a juvenile correctional facility and things. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So we partnered with Juvenile Justice Commission and studio called Cobblestone Multimedia, along with Essex County College and Rutgers University, and we created a curriculum for audio and video teaching tool for youth. Many of them are youth are in juvenile facilities, and some adults too, in reentry as well. And we taught them music production and video production. So they designed and created their own film, and then they created the music for it as well. So.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That is beautiful. So now, is that an ongoing program that you do there?
Yes, but unfortunately, due to the COVID and COVID restrictions and
that COVID.
Right?
COVID.
So hopefully it'll be back soon. We did it virtually, and it kind of worked. So we'll I
really like that, and people don't realize that they need that. You know, kids who live in more affluent communities, a lot of times people don't realize that a lot of them are more successful than kids who are in poorer community or less resourced communities, is because they have that extracurricular stuff. You know, because you need your academics, but you also need to be cultivated. You know, and that balance, you know, brings in a whole, you know, well-rounded upbringing and experience in life, so that you can become balanced in whatever you want to do in your life. But a lot of young people, I mean, even in some affluent communities, I'm finding out, you know, they don't explore outside the community, and when they don't, it's a serious barrier that they have in terms of relating to people who don't look like them, who don't have what they have, or didn't go with they go through, so they don't know how to socialize or relate with people outside of who they know or what they're used to seeing. So that's very important that you go in and they create something with each other, you know, which teaches them how to collab and create with other people. I mean, even actors on the set, because I've been in a couple of off-Broadway plays, you know, they have actors games, warm-ups, things, so that we could build the chemistry that we need so that when we're filming, or that when we're, you know, on stage, we can really feel that connection, and then people in turn feel what we're trying to present to them. You know, so that's very important, and I know that you do that because, you know, you grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and Newark, New Jersey, like Brooklyn, where I grew up, in Far Rockaway, Queens, was a tough neighborhoods. You know, and I know as a young man, you probably experienced a lot of challenges around you to try to prevent from, you know, getting, you know, yourself wrapped up in some type of trouble or anything. You know, it's hard now even for young black men, you know, in our community. So I know that you worked on a project with Raz Baraka and some local artists. You know, tell me what inspired you to do that, and what are some of the, you know, things in Newark, New Jersey you would like to see change so that more young people could have a better chance to have opportunities.
Absolutely. So I was and got in contact with the Greater Newark Convention and Visitors Bureau for the city of Newark. They are in charge of drawing tourism to the city. And they let me know that they were working on a project to do exactly that. So I created the score, the background music, and I invited many local musicians, friends of mine, singers. Shout out to Janetza, Bree Black.
Shout out.
On violin. Muraf, who's a artist, a recording artist, rapper. And we created this song to help highlight the city in a positive light. And so, yeah. And
I love that, because that's what Community Vibes with BrownEyes is all about. It's all about talking about the positive things. People, you know, whether you live in Newark, New Jersey, I see a lot of videos on YouTube, and a lot of people saying Newark is like the worst place to live in. There's beautiful things in Newark, New Jersey. There's beautiful parks. There's beautiful people. There's talented people, successful people. So many great things that we overlook to look at the negative things. It's like having a spot on a dress or two spots on a dress and say the dress is ruined. No, there's so many great things in Newark, Irvington, East Orange, people that are coming together to do great things. And I saw that Welcome to Newark video, and you're from Newark. And the one thing I feel good about is, even though I'm from New York City, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, they were all born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. I mean, like my great-great-grandmother, you know, Isabella Berry, going all the way back to, you know, the early 1800s, was right here in Newark, New Jersey. That's what it says in the census, you know, report. Right. So my mom, my grandmother probably moved into New York after the riots, and she probably was looking to move my mother and uncles and aunts into New York to away from whatever what was going on here. But my aunt, her sister stayed here, so I have a lot of cousins that are here in Newark, New Jersey. Some I know, some I don't know. The Moses family, the Harrison family, they know who they are. Some of them I have met recently, but I didn't grow up with. So I don't feel like it's a mistake that I'm in Irvington or dealing with Newark, New Jersey. I think it's a circle around, and I think there's something that I'm supposed to do here, and that's why I'm here, because I didn't intend to do this. This happened by chance.
Word.
So I believe that everything is done for a certain reason, and I want to show the promo to that song, Welcome Back to Newark, New Jersey, so people can see some of the work from it.
Solstice rhythms, how they travel through you, making you move, creating your groove. Golden age of warmth, serving love on hot picnic days. Under the wall, the rays of the sun shining for you, beautiful. Don't you know you're shining bright under the light of beautiful city?
Market peeping up parade. Remember running through the Dr. J. Check it out, the hits the coffee cave. Remember that? Shorty pulled up with the jean cat. Springfield ad with a breeze at. On a 39 with the mean rap. While I screaming out, swing that. Sing Sean on our roster. Shout out to the queens and I hope they prosper. Love over everything on a mantra. Finna run the city like a Ross Baraka. Like that.
Oh my, I love it. I love it, and they can catch the entire video, online. They can catch it on YouTube. Welcome to Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Mayor Ras Baraka, for all of the great things that he's doing. And while I'm at it, I live in Irvington, so I want to give a shout out to Mayor Tony Voss as well. Shout out Mayor Tony Voss. We got some good mayors, that are really doing great things. And I always liked Ras Baraka because when I first came to New Jersey, as a producer of youth talent events, I used to do them at Central High School, where he was the principal, and he would come in sometime and check out what we was doing and nod his head like he really appreciated the environment of where the young people was going to come on to actually perform in a supportive environment. And it didn't matter whether they had talent or not. We gave them the stage and encouraged them till they build up to a point where they was ready to perform. I really like that. I think that we're missing local talent shows in the community. I think local talent shows back in the days brought communities together in a big way. And I think that they should do local talent shows again. I know they do events, I love the 24 Hours Against Violence, but I love to see an event with just ordinary community members, that don't get a chance to perform but have great talent.
Right.
Come out to a local talent event and showcase whatever it is that they do. We got dance groups here, rest in peace, Roberto Cabañas. He produced a lot with young people in the dance community, and people loved it, and those young people developed through dance. They met people, they traveled, they developed into be young adults to learn how to be a part of something that they could create with others and be successful in their lives. So there's so many great people here, and how does that make you feel to see that video, knowing that you're from Newark, New Jersey, and the entrapments that are still around till today, that a lot of young people, young men, and a lot of young women now are getting caught up in.
Right.
What would you say to them?
I would say, kind of, it's difficult. It's up to the person to, want to make change in their own lives. You know what I mean? And for me, I like to lead by example. You know what I mean? To be a staple in my city is enough. It's not just enough, actually. To actually be able to teach and give back, it's kind of elevates it. But it's difficult out here, And like a lot of these youth, they don't want to change. That kind of makes it a little difficult. So you kind of have to be the change,
Right.
So.
Yeah, and in my experience from being in the community, a lot of these young people don't want to change. I don't know if that they don't want to change. I think that they need more adults in the community to set an example for that change.
Agreed.
There's so much hate, anger, and so many things going on in the world right now with adults. Racism, sexism, exclusion, and it's so many different fights that's going on in the world. It's like if I was a young person right now, even as an adult, sometimes I don't know which way to go. I turn off the news because I don't even want to hear it anymore. So I'm trying to imagine a young person that's living in poverty. Maybe they got a parent that might be on drugs or drinking or violence in their home, or maybe they're homeless even. Like, how do they handle that emotionally and mentally? Because a lot of us in our communities don't get mental health. Mental health is not a thing that people seek in the communities. They don't think they have a problem because this is the norm, but which is not normal.
It's not.
So I think that we need more of what you're doing, and I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing, with the young people in the community. Anything that I could do to come out to participate, and I'm not talking about performing and all that, and I'll do that too because I still got my game with me, but anything I can do to come out and be a part of anything that you're doing, please let me know, because that's my way of connecting with the community here and helping other people do what they do, because we all have to do it together. Just like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes the village to build the community. Everybody have to play their part, be it big or small. They don't have to be on the front lines, but they should at least promote it or spread the word or do small things, so that they can help out in their own way, so that we all can be proud in what we do to help the community be a better place. So, Carter, what is your next project that you're going to be working on from here?
Absolutely. On September 24th, we are having an event in the community garden on South 20th Street and 11th Street in Newark, New Jersey. We're having a people in need event. I don't want to call it a homeless event, like people in need event, where we'll be giving out food, resources. We'll have a health truck out there doing blood pressure checks, and providing information for shelter and future needs of food. So, yeah, that's going to be dope. So that's between 12 and 5 p.m. On September 24th in Newark, South 20th Street and 11th Street.
South 20th Street and 11. And do you have a flyer for that you?
Not yet. We're creating
it.
Yeah.
When you do that, y'all can check on Community Vibes page. I will be posting it so that people will be able to know, and I'm going to make sure that I come out to. That's my birthday weekend. I'm not going to lie. I got a little thing going on that night, but that's at that night. I can still come out and be a part of something that's great and still be thankful and celebrate my birthday later.
Absolutely.
So if people want to find your music, what you do and get in contact with you for any reason, how can they find you?
Absolutely. I guess the main sources you can find me at are, let's start with Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at Produced by ROC, all one word. And my website is The Rock Productions. That's the ROCProductions.com.
TheRockProductions.com, and believe me, all of his productions, presentations, music, directing is solid as a rock. So I'm glad he got that. Boom. Okay, just like that. And I just want to say I am so proud of you, and I will continue to. We didn't meet for no reason. I don't think anything is by chance. We've always connected somewhere or somehow in the community. But I always wanted to say I'm very proud of you, and I'm very, very, very have to mention how humble you are. I'm sure your mom is very proud of you, because if I had a son that had your demeanor, your character, and what you were doing in spite of everything that you could have a reason for to say, I don't want to, do something, like you decided to do some great things. And I'm really seeing you going even higher than what you're doing. Absolutely. And giving back to others. Those young people are going to grow up and they're going to thank you, because all the work that I did in the community, some of them still come back to me that have children now and say, I tell my kids about you and all the events and things that we used to do. So what you're doing is going to come back to you in good energies, and I'm hoping that it comes back to you triple times, because you deserve it. A young man like you that's out here making a difference in the community because you want to, and it's from the heart, and it's going to come back to you that way. So I'm going to say to you, for the community, thank you so much, because you even inspire me, because I'm like, if he's out here doing it, then I need to continue continue on doing what I'm doing. And I want to thank you because you have a very busy schedule. You got a lot going on, but you still chose to come out and be a part of Community Vibes with Brown Eyes. So thank you. Give him a round of applause for coming out. I mean, I wish I could give him more than that. You know, so Community Vibes with Brown Eyes is a monthly show. We do have a halftime show called Catch the Vibe with Brown Eyes, where I interview people online from other states. You know, so if you know anyone in the New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania area that is doing great things in your community, and you think that it would be great for them to come on the show to talk about what they're doing, please inbox me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can email me at communityvibesbe@gmail.com, and you can contact me that way, and we'll be glad to have you. Thank you for tuning in. This show today was produced by myself and my co-producer Kirsten Fulda. We are recording here at Bravery Studios with our great engineer in the back waves, Marvin. Give a shout out to Marvin.
Bravery up.
Bravery, yeah. And our video in the beginning of the show was created by the Beach Shop in Newark, New Jersey, and of course, you know, the music was done by King T Finesse. So I thank all of them. Thank you once again, Carter, for coming on the show, and I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to more great things. And for all of you out there, thank you for tuning in. We're going to leave off with my song Diamond, because you are all diamonds, and I'll see y'all on the next show.
You can't take away my shine, 'cause I'm a diamond.
You a diamond.
See, I'm a diamond.
He's a diamond, y'all.
So precious and so rare. I shine bright in your atmosphere, 'cause I'm a diamond.
Yeah.
See, I'm a diamond. People talk, they say so much. Like a queen, my pearls I clutch. You can judge me in a heated rush, with your facts so out of touch. They gonna say what they wanna say, so I'ma play how I wanna play. It doesn't really matter anyway, as long as I got peace at the end of my day. Young or old, I will not fold. Let it be told, I'm worth more than bricks of gold. You can throw stones and break bones, but never dim the shimmer of my musical tones. You can't take away my shine.
Don't let them take your shine away. And remember, you're a diamond. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we out, y'all. Thank you.
So precious and so rare. I shine bright in your atmosphere, 'cause I'm a diamond. See, I'm a diamond. I know the pain when it hits low. Kick you when you're down and you're trying to grow. And if you move slow, you miss your goal. Pressures of life that you can't control. Take the lemons and make lemonade. No matter what you create, they're gonna throw shade. Unique in the way we were all made. Down with the myth that your time has been played. Haters gonna hate, but don't ever stop. I'm riding till the wheels fall off of the block. Time keeps ticking if you feel me or not. Better give it all, I'ma give it all I got. You can't take away my shine, 'cause I'm a diamond. See, I'm a diamond. So precious and so rare. I shine bright in your atmosphere, 'cause I'm a diamond. See, I'm a diamond. It's about time to live my shine. Fear and doubt I leave behind. You can judge me in a heated rush, with your back so out of touch. You're gonna say what you wanna say, so I'ma play how I wanna play. It doesn't really matter anyway, as long as I got peace at the end of the day. Young or old, I will not fold. Let it be told, worth more than bricks of gold. You can throw stones and break bones, but never dim the shimmer of my musical tones. You can't take away my shine, 'cause I'm a diamond. See, I'm a diamond. So precious and so rare. I shine
away my shine. 'Cause I'm a diamond. See, I'm a diamond. So precious and so rare. I shine bright in your atmosphere. 'Cause I'm a diamond. See, I'm a diamond.